CM Punk is back in the WWE, and there's a whole slew of updates about him, about his dealings with the WWE, and how quickly it came together. Who knew about his signing before he appeared at Survivor Series? Who was actually angry? Of course, there's footage of Seth Rollins being angry, Drew McIntyre storming out of the arena is being reported, and much more. Let's get all into the news right now. CM Punk returned at Survivor Series after the Men's War Games main event, coming out to a huge pop at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, his hometown. They went nuts, and it was one of the best returns in pro wrestling history in my book. Now, as of how did this all come together, Triple H revealed some of it during the post-show press conference, where he revealed that Punk wasn't officially signed to the WWE until Saturday afternoon. That Saturday morning, there was no contract signed. So that's crazy. As for who knew about it, it is being reported that only Nick Khan and Triple H were the first two to really get the ball moving with CM Punk, as November 19th, Triple H and CM Punk had an hour-long conversation, mending fences and getting back on each other's good side. So, from there on out, how did the reactions of Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre play into this? Because there's reports that Drew McIntyre stormed out of the building. There's footage of him walking out, kind of like covering his eye and not looking happy. He just storms completely out. Apparently, he went to the back, grabbed his stuff, slammed the locker room door, grabbed his stuff, and left. So there's not much details on exactly what it was. There is some reports saying that some people believe that it has to do with CM Punk, but there is nothing really confirming that. He was also at the WWE house show last night cutting a promo, kind of like talking about, oh, the dirt sheets might say this one thing, but here I am. So we don't really know what's going on with Drew McIntyre. We don't know if he was mad because he was possibly injured. We don't know if he was mad because of the Punk return. We don't know. So we will keep you updated, of course, once any news sites lets us know. As for Seth Rollins now, we have all the footage of him flipping off CM Punk on the ramp over and over, being restrained by Michael Cole. Corey Graves talked to all the other wrestlers in the match, and he's visibly upset about CM Punk. Now, we know back in January this year, he had an interview with Nick Hausman where he basically said, Phil, stay away, you're cancer. Kind of said it in character because he did his laugh and everything back then, but he really let it known even after that he didn't like CM Punk, or doesn't like CM Punk. He also did an interview after WrestleMania 40 where he was asked more about CM Punk. He said that his feelings are the same towards him, but that he will give him credit for helping put his foot in the door on the main roster for WWE with the Shield, but that he just doesn't like him. And he also did state back then during that same interview that he would be willing to work a match with him. So obviously, I believe that's where we're going with Seth Rollins, CM Punk. We'll find out more tonight on the 1 hour commercial free, or the first hour commercial free of Raw. So I'm assuming we're going to start off with Punk. There's no way that you don't start off with CM Punk after what happened at Survivor Series. So it looks like some people could be mad about CM Punk coming back to the WWE, but it's also being reported that there was a slew of others who were waiting for Punk once they realized he returned and they saw his return, that they came to the gorilla position and hugged him as he came through the curtain. No reveal on names on who that was, but it's not hard to believe that he does have friends in the WWE, and there are going to be people, of course, I mean, there's going to be the mix no matter where you go. People who hate it, people who like it, and it's the same in the WWE. Now, Vince McMahon supposedly wasn't involved in this at all, so he found out that Punk was back just like we did. If he was at home watching the show, which I would be shocked if he wasn't, is how he found out, just by watching the show. So Vince McMahon had nothing to do with this re-signing, in case you were curious. Same with TKO. A lot of talks about TKO possibly getting the ball rolling to bring CM Punk into the WWE. Of course, TKO is the parent company for now UFC and the WWE. Punk has worked for both now, and it was talk amongst a lot of fans that maybe it was TKO and Dana White getting this ball rolling, but nope, apparently not. This was literally all a Nick Khan and Triple H signing. And it seems like CM Punk will be a Raw superstar. Apparently, there was some talk on Saturday about them making him a free agent where he could appear on both shows, which I still think that they're probably going to do, because how do you not put CM Punk on Fox with how crazy the Fox ratings can get? But as of right now, it looks like he may just be a Raw exclusive wrestler, if that's what you were wondering about. As for the Shinsuke Nakamura promos, it's still being said by people in the know that those promos weren't being made with the knowledge of CM Punk coming in, and that as of now, there is still no storyline plans for CM Punk versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Still no confirmation on how long his deal is with the WWE, but it's going to be a multi-year deal. Whether it's 2 years, 3 years, we're not sure, but he will be there for multiple years. Also talk, will CM Punk be full-time? Right now, the rumors are saying that it seems to be a part-time deal. We don't know exactly if that's going to be like a Roman Reigns thing where he's gone for a few months at a time and then back for a few months at a time, or a month at a time, or an Edge thing, kind of like a similar situation. I would assume so, because we haven't really had much difference when we see part-timers. Like, look at Logan Paul, look at Edge, look at Roman. They all tend to come and go whenever. So I expect the same thing for Punk here. I would be a little surprised if he tries to do a full-time schedule, especially after how injury-prone he seemed to be in his last AEW run. So hopefully no injuries for Punk, and yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Tony Khan was asked about CM Punk debuting at Survivor Series just today, and he basically gave us no comment, saying that he can't speak on CM Punk legally, so I guess there is some type of either NDA where the two sides can't talk about each other. Now, I've seen people be like, well, Tony Khan fired him publicly. Well, he fired him behind the scenes, then announced his firing publicly. Yeah, I know that's kind of confusing for some people, like, oh, but he could talk about that live, saying that he's fired, but he can't talk about his signing with WWE. It's more likely an NDA where they can't discuss any of each other's future dealings once they have parted ways, is my guess. I'm not sure 100%, but if I had to guess, I would assume that's what they are dealing with, an NDA where they can't discuss each other's future businesses. So that's just my guess. What is everyone's thoughts on that part of it? There is also rumors that some talents are going to be having a meeting with WWE higher-ups about CM Punk being back in the WWE, whether that means if this is going to be all talent or just the talent that is having the issues or think they have issues with Punk. We do not know for sure, but I would figure that they'd probably at least have some type of meeting, because there has to be some people that are like, what? Overall, my thoughts of this whole situation is I didn't see it coming, because I really felt like if this was happening, it would have been everywhere. And I know there was some dirt sheets claiming like, yeah, this is a done deal, and there was some other big ones saying it's not. So it was kind of like pick who you want to believe type of scenario. That's why I always refer to them as rumors, regardless of who says it in the wrestling journalism world. So either way, this was a big shock to me. Of course, a lot of you know I've made countless videos talking about the man behind the character, Phillip Brooks. I personally, after watching CM Punk for 20 years and hearing everything and seeing everything play out throughout his career, I'm not a fan of the person behind the character. I would say I wasn't even really a fan of the in-ring worker up until his AEW run, as I didn't really care for Punk until a pipe bomb in 2011. I didn't hate him prior to that or think he was bad. I just never was a Punk fan up until the pipe bomb. So I was never like this biggest Punk fan. I had seen him in his ECW, WWE days. I had seen some of his ROH stuff before he came into the WWE, just because there was a lot of hype around him. So that was kind of like around the era when I first really got into internet wrestling and started discovering all this new stuff and all this stuff that you could find about him. So there was already lots to talk about Punk prior to even coming to WWE, with some things that he, how he basically wasn't afraid to speak his mind, or I guess that's the best way to put it, because he has said some questionable things even back in ROH and done questionable things. I've talked about him countless times. You could go watch past videos about it that I've made, but the character CM Punk, I enjoy. I actually became a bigger fan when he was in AEW. I feel like the best AEW feud of all time was him and MJF. I think Punk definitely proved me wrong. I was saying when he first signed to AEW, even though I did mark out that I wasn't the biggest fan of his in-ring work, and then he made me flip that a full 180, and I became a big fan of his in-ring work. And then all this stuff happened in AEW. The drama played out over a year and a half, and it just killed any type of excitement I had for the person behind the character. The character I could still like because he was still doing good things, but the things that were happening behind the scenes, it just made me not really want to cheer for him. And I still don't want to cheer for him. Again, I don't know him personally, but after watching someone for 15, 20 years, you kind of build up an idea of who the person behind the character is, and it's kind of hard for me to change that now, because after so long and you see kind of the same thing over and over, it's easy to have that opinion that, like, hey, I'm not going to like this person in real life based off all this. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me. Everyone's going to be like, oh, you can't judge a person that you can't meet. I disagree with that, and you're all entitled to your own opinion. I'm not here to change how you feel about anything involving this. I'm just sharing my thoughts. You are more than welcome to share yours in the comments down below, guys. CM Punk will be on Raw tonight. What does everyone think about all this news?